So we have completed the visualization part, right? Key influencer and Q&A is also done, right? Last time in the
Yes.
okay. So from today onwards, we'll start filters and slicers. So what are filters and slicers? Filters and slicers are actually used to filter the data. Okay. So usually when you create your report, you want the user to interact with your report, right? You want your user to see the different things. For example, if you create a report and I want to see the same report, but for a different year, I want to apply the filter for a specific region. I want to apply filter for a specific column, specific value. So in that case, filter comes handy. Okay. So for that reason, Power BI provides you the filter section. So in case of filter, what you can do is you can go to filter, you can apply the filter and the report gets filtered. Okay. Now, when you talk about report, in report, you have multiple components. So the lowest level component is your visual, which is a single visualization. Then multiple visualizations on the single page. Multiple visualizations constitute a single page, and then multiple pages constitute a single report, right? That is how a typical report is created. So when I say visualization, that means I meant one visualization. When you have a page and you have 4 to 5 visualizations, that is your page. And then you have multiple pages which constitute report, right? So that is how this thing works: visual level, page level, and report level, right? So that is why in case of filters, okay, specifically we have three options. One is visual level filter, second is page level filter, and third is report level filter. So what is visual level filter? Visual level filter is a filter which can filter the single visualization. Okay. Page level filter is something which can filter all the visualizations on the page. And report level filter is something which can filter all the pages of the report. Okay. So depending on the scope of the filters are defined. So one is visual, which will work only on single visualization. Second is page, which will work on all the visualizations on the page. And third one is your report level filter, which will work on the entire report. Clear with this? Any questions? Let me load the financial sample. Now what we will do is we will start with the very first filter, which is visual level filter. Okay. So this is the filter section which we are going to use today, and we are going to try to finish this visual level filter thing, a visual level, report level, and your page level thing. Okay. Okay. So let's say I create a bar diagram here. So I take clustered bar diagram from here and I prepare the visualization. So for that, I take sales in the value section, product in the access section. Yeah, this is my visualization. Now, if you see carefully the right hand side of the filter, this is how the filter icon appear. Now in this filter section, you have three sections which you can see here. One is called as filter on the visual, second is called as filter on this page, third is called as filter on all pages. So this filter on this visual is called as visual level filter. Filter on this page is called as page level filter, and filter on all pages is called as your report level filter. Okay. So in this case, as you can see, the moment you plotted your sales, the total sales versus product, on the clustered bar diagram, automatically two filters were added in this filter on this visual section. Okay, so by default, any fields that you use in this field section, okay, this is your field section. So anything that you're going to add in these areas, they will be automatically added to the visual level filter. Now, as I said, your visual level filter can filter only single visual. So this visual level filter section can filter only this part of the visual. Okay, now in order to filter the data, let's start from here. Okay, so the first thing that we will do is we will try to filter the data. So depending on the columns, your filters would vary. For example, if I use a text column, then my filters would be different. If I use a numeric column, my filters would be different. And if I use a date column, my filters would be a bit different. Okay, so when you use a numeric column, this is your numeric column sales. The only thing that I can do with numbers is I can just compare them as in I can just say they are greater than, they are less than, they are equal to, they are not equal to. Those are the things that I can actually do. So in here, whenever you pull the numeric column, the only option that you get is this advanced level filter. This is what I call it as advanced level filter, because in this case I'm not getting any checkboxes or something, I'm just seeing the filter. So in here, these are the list of conditions that you can compare with. So for example, is less than or equal to, is greater than or equal to, is not, okay, and is blank or is not blank. Okay, so these are the set of options that they can see. Okay, so from this filter, let me apply a condition. So I have Passio, VTT, Velo, Umbrella, Montana, and Carretera. Let's say I only want to see the list of products whose revenue is greater than 16 million. So for that, I can set here is greater than, and in here I can specify 16 million. Now, in order to apply this filter, you will have to click on this apply filter section, and when your filter is applied, you will see the visualization is being filtered. You can see from 6 bars, we are now to 4 bars. If you really want to check if your filter is applied or not, you can click on this filter icon also. So for every visualization, there is this filter icon, which can help you in understanding whether this value is greater or this value is less, like that. Okay, so here you can see the sales is greater than 16 million. This is the kind of filter which is actually applied on this visualization. If you want to combine the multiple conditions, you can combine with the help of and or also. So from here I can say if my sales is greater than 16 million and it is less than 25 million. So anything between 16 and 25 is what I want to see. I apply filter. Yeah. You can see. And if you want to check the condition is mentioned here also. So sales is greater than 16 million and is less than 25 million is what is mentioned here. Okay, so this is how you can apply the conditions on a numeric column. Okay, clear with this? Any questions?
No.
Yeah. Now let's say if this is the filter that you have applied, and if you want to clear it, you have to click on this clear filter icon and your filter is removed. Now, in case of numeric, I will have limited of course options, of course, but when it comes to text, I have 3 types of filter. I have basic filter, I have the advanced filter, and then I have the top end filter. So what is basic filter? Basic filter is what you have used in your Excel. Okay, when you click on filter, all the values appear in the form of checkboxes, and when you click on checkboxes, only that much data is shown, right? So for example, if I click on umbrella here, I see umbrella data only. When I select Carretera, I see umbrella and Carretera. When I click Montana, I see Montana. When I click on Passio, I see Passio also. So this is your basic filter which you have used in your Excel. Now, similar to your numeric column, we have advanced filter here. So in case of advanced, you can do the advanced operations on text. Now, what are the advanced operations on text which are possible? Contains, does not contains, starts with, does not starts with, is not, is blank, is not blank, is empty, is not empty. So in here, I can say get all the products which start with V. So when I say this, only two products starts with V, so it can show me the values. So I have VTT and then I have value. Okay. And if you want to check the condition, you can click here and you can see product starts with V. And in here also, if I want to combine two conditions, I have another operator here. So here I can write if product starts with V and product starts with P. And I click on apply. Now, when you apply this condition, you get blank, meaning the filter that you have applied is not giving you the correct result. And if you carefully see here, the filter that you have applied is list of all the products which starts with P and which starts with P. If a product starts with V, it cannot start with P. And if a product starts with P, it cannot start with V. That is why there is no data returned, and that is why the filter is showing you blank results. So in order to make this condition work, we have to use OR, because product can start with P or V. The moment you click on apply filter and you change the condition, now the result is here. And the condition is OR, not the AND. Okay, so this is your advanced level filter. And the next level filter is your top end filter. Now, in case of this diagram, you see total sales by product. And in this case, you have 6 products and their respective sales. But let's say I don't want to show all the 6 products. I only want to show the top 3 products based on the sum of sales. So that means in this case, I have Passio, I have VTT, and I have Velo. So all I want to do now is I want to show Passio, I want to show VTT, and I want to show Velo. So in such cases, I can use the top end filter. So with the help of top end, what I will say is show me the top 3 products based on the sum of sales. So for that, you select top end here, you select top from the menu here, you select 3 because you want to show the 3 products. And then you want to show the top 3 products based on what? This is where you have to pull the field. So from here, I pull the field called as sales. Like your value section, where you can change the formula to sum, minimum, maximum. Here also in this by value, you can change the formula by clicking on the drop down. So from here, you can say sum, average, minimum, maximum, count, count distinct, standard deviation, variance, and median. So here I want to calculate top 3 products based on sum of sales. So I'll keep the formula as is and I click on apply filter. So when I click on apply filter, it will show me Passio, VTT, and Velo only, because these are the 3 products based on my sum of sales. Yep. As you can see here, it is showing me Passio, VTT, and Velo. You can see the filter also here. The filter is top 3 products by sales. Okay. So this is how you can apply the filter of top. Now, similar to this, if I want to calculate bottom, just select bottom from this and click on apply filter. So when you select bottom and when you click on applying filter, you can see the bottom 3 sales, bottom 3 products by the sales. Any questions here? This is how you calculate the top end. And this is the answer to your 6th question. Now, in case of 6th question for project 1, you had to calculate the top end based on balance, right? Top 2 based on balance. So in that case, what you have to do is you have to take the customer name and balance. And in the customer name filter, you have to select top end, and there you have to say top 2, and you have to just drag the balance field in the by value section and apply filter. It will give you 2 customers with the sum balance, top 2 customers. Okay, any questions here?
This top end feature is not available for numeric values?
No. Imagine this, Anurag, that I tell you to calculate top 10 sales based on what? Top 10 sales based on what, right? So that is not possible. Usually when you do summarization, when you say sum of sales, you always do it based on the non-numeric category, right? So in case of numeric, that is not possible. If I say top 10 sales rows, I have a different mechanism to calculate that, but that will never give me a single value or a single bar, Anurag, right? It will always give me multiple rows and multiple columns, and then I will not be able to show that much amount of information in the visualization. That is why the top end option is not available in the numeric column. Another important information, Anurag, is that the top end option is only available in the visual level filter. That means if you add any filter here in the page level or in the report level, you will never see top end. Reason being is we can never calculate top end of a page or top end of a report, right? We can only calculate top end from a visual. Okay, that's the case. Okay, and this top end option you will only see for the non-numeric fields. For example, you can see this for date, you can see this for text, but you can never see this for sales, the numeric columns.
Yep, got it.
Okay, now if you want to remove this filter, you can click on this filter and you can remove it. Now in this case, you have plotted total sales by product. Okay, that's why the sales and products were added, but that doesn't mean that you cannot add other filters. For example, if I want to add a filter which is not used in my visualization, all I have to do is just drag that column here in the data fields, and that filter can be applied on this visualization. Okay, so it is not necessary that you have to use columns in the visualization, then only you can add the filter. Totally up to you. You can add any filter. So let's say if I add date filter. So when you add date filter, okay, so you get the different types of options. So the first three options would be very similar to what we have seen just now in the product. So the first option is basic filter. So like I said, in case of basic filter, what will happen is all the unique values or all the distinct values of the dates, they are shown in the form of checkboxes. So when I click on this checkbox, my visualization will show me the data with respect to that. Then this, like that. Okay, so you can apply the condition, and based on that, it will show us the respective value. Clear? Next, now the next level filter is advanced filter. Now in case of text, you had options like contains, does not, contains, is not. Now in case of advanced filter for number, I have is not, is after, is on or after. So is after and is on or after are kind of equal to the greater than equal to, and is on or before is equivalent to your less than or equal to. Okay, so here I can apply the date range function. So for example, if I know that I want to apply the filter of 1st January 2014 to 31st March 2014, so for that, what I can say is anything which is on or after 1st January 2014, and anything which is before, on or before 31st March 2014. So 31st 2014, and I click on apply. So when you click on this, the condition is applied. You can check the condition here also in the filter. So it says date is on or after Wednesday, January 1, 2014, and is on or before 31st March 2014. So between January to 31st March, the condition is applied. Okay, so this is your advanced level filter. In here, if you don't want to type, they have given you the option of this calendar icon, so you can click on this calendar. From this calendar also you can provide the selection, and based on that it will apply the filter. Okay, here the time can also be specified. That is also one of the filters. Now sometimes what happens is, in case of date, we are not aware about the exact date. For example, I know that something happened in 2014 but not sure when it happened. So for that, I have one more option which is called as relative date. So in relative date, I can specify a relative time period like last 5 years, last 7 years, last 6 years, last 6 months, last 6 days, last 6 weeks, and so on. And based on that, it will calculate and it will give me the result. So in here, in relative date, I have three options. One is in the last, second is in the present, and third is in the next. So these are the three options that are given to me. So I can go to past, I can count in present, and I can go in the future also. So I'll select last. Now in the financial sample, we have data only for 2013 and 2014. So for that case, what I will do is I will take this data and I will say, show me the last 8 years data. So when I select the 8 and when I select years from here and apply the filter, when you check the filter on this visualization, you can see The filter has been applied from 29 December 2013 to 20th December 2021. So in this case, when you applied the filter, it has taken the current day into the consideration because of this checkbox. And based on that checkbox, it has applied the filter exactly 8 years from today. So today is 28th December, so it went exactly 8 years behind. So 29 December 2013 was the date. Okay, so from there to here, the filter was applied. Okay, so this is your relative filter, relative date filter. Now in this case, in relative date also, I have one more scenario where I will say, boss, I don't want to apply this relative date filter the way you are applying. I don't want to count it from today. I want to count it in terms of completed entity. For example, currently 2021 is still in progress. I want to apply the filter on 2020 because 2020 is the completed year. That's the completed year. And I want you to apply the filter for the complete financial year. That means starting from 1st January, ending on 31st December. So for that, I have one more option, which is called as calendar year. Calendar year will always take into the consideration the completed year. For example, the moment 2022 starts, for 2022, 2021 is the completed year. Okay, so I select this calendar year and I apply the filter. Now observe the condition. Now the filter condition that is applied is 1st January 2013 to 31st December 2020. Because in this case, 31st December 2020 is the completed year. 2020 is the completed year. Same is the difference between month and calendar month and year and calendar year. So let me show you the calendar month example. So I'll just multiply it by 12. I'll just say here month and I apply the filter. Now again, in case of month also, it will go exactly 96 months behind from the same date. So in here, when you compare it, same filter, 29 December 2023, 28 December 2021. But the moment I change this to calendar month, now we are into the December month. So the completed month is November. So when I apply the filter, see, the last end date would be November. See, so 30 November 2021. Till that part, the filter is applied. Okay, so this is the difference between year and calendar year, month and calendar month. Clear with this? Any questions? Okay, and similar to this, I have one more filter, which is relative time. So in case of relative time, you can apply the filter with respect to hours and minutes. So if you have the data like last 5 hours data, last 6 hours data, if you want to see just last 2 years data, last 2 minutes data, last 15 minutes data, then in that case, you can see that. You can see that with the help of this, okay, relative time filter. So that is your relative time filter. Okay, so this is your visual level filter. Now in case of visual level filter, there is one more thing which is remaining. Now in case of this visualization, we have used date as a filter, but if you remember, the date is not used in the visualization. It is just added as an additional field. But let's say if you add the date as the axis, especially in case of the date hierarchy, okay, especially when you use the date hierarchy in that case. So in that case, the result is bit different. For example, I take profit and I take date. Now, whenever you pull the date, by default, the date hierarchy is used to plot the visualization, correct? So when you use the date hierarchy to plot the visualization, this is what you see: year, quarter, month, and day information. You see all the drill down buttons and the filter button. Now carefully observe the right hand side of the filter. Now for profit, of course, it is numeric. When you expand it, you get the advanced level filters. This is fine. We know about this. But observe the other filters. Since it is a date hierarchy, you got filter for every different levels. For example, you got year. So in year, you have three options: basic, advanced, top end. So when you select basic, you can filter the data year wise. If you want, you can go to advanced. You can apply your condition. Okay, and then you have the top end. Similar to this, when you go to quarter, you can apply the quarter level conditions. For example, basic filter, which is quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. These are my values. Then I have advanced filter. So here I have is less than, is greater than, contains, does not contain, starts, those type of conditions, because it's a text column. In case of month also, I get Jan to December. So if you select Jan, it will show you the Jan data and so on. And similar to this, you got the day wise filter. So in case of day also, it's a numeric. So you're getting the advanced filter option, and you can also get the basic filter options also. Clear with this? So these options are displayed to you because you are using the date hierarchy here. See, this is the date hierarchy you are using. That is why you are getting so many options. Okay. But the moment I change this date hierarchy to sample date, the simple date which we use, all these options will go and you will see the same options which we saw earlier. I change this to date. Now see, date, month, quarter, year, all gone. And you see the same thing which we saw earlier. So this is these are the options that we have already seen: basic, advanced, relative date, relative time. So in order to get this relative date and relative time, always remember you have to use the plain date, not the date hierarchy. Then only you will get that option. Okay. So this is my second visualization, and this is how the filter works. Clear with this? Anyone has any questions on the visual level filter? Okay, moving on. Yeah. The next level filter that we will see is this. This is called as your page level filter. This is called as your report level filter. So how does a page level and report level filter works? In case of page level and report level filter, you will have only two options. One is basic filter, second is advanced filter. So if I pull this discount band column from here to this page, let me just reduce this. Yeah. So these are the options that you get. The first is basic level filter, second is advanced level filter. So from here, advanced, you can apply advanced level conditions. And if you want to apply the basic conditions, you can apply it from here. Okay. So let's say if I select high discount band here, you will see visualization changing for both the visualizations. Now, if you want to check if the filter is applied or not, you can go to visualization, click on the filter icon. You can see here the filter being applied is discount band high clearly. And if I go to this visualization and if I click on the filter icon, I can see here also the discount band is high filter is applied. Okay. When I clear this, both the visualization go back to where they were. Okay. So this is your page level filter, and exactly similar to this, if I move this page level filter to my report level filter, it can filter the reports. Okay, so let me move it from here. Let me go then. Okay, so now this is my report level filter because it is added in this filter on this all pages. But for this to work, I need to create visualizations. So let me create some visualizations from here.
Praful,
Yeah.
how are we going to change this title of the visual?
So you want to change the title of this visual?
Yes.
Which one? Tell me. I'll change it.
Yeah, this sales by discount band.
Okay, sales by discount band. So for that, go to the format option. Now in format, you will see title. You see this? So go here. Sales by title, sales by discount is already mentioned here. If you want to change it to heading 6, you can change it from here. If you want to add any word here, just type it from here. Total sales by discount band, word wrap, font color. If you want to place it at the center, you can do it from here. Font increase is possible from here. Font family, you can change it from here. So I'll just change it to Arial black. So for in order to display anything in bold, always use Arial black. You don't have options to show the value in bold.
For one of the visuals, I'm not able to change this title.
Which visualization? Tell me.
Just give me a second. Goes for cars.
This one.
Yes.
So in this card, this is the label that you want to change, right? This discount.
Yes. Yep. Label.
To change it from here, Anurag. Okay.
Oh,
In the fields only change it. So
okay. So we cannot change it by like we change here.
because it's a label. So it's a single card. So if I change it here, see, it's changed here. It's font and other thing. I think you can control it from here. I think that thing is here. So you change it from here, whatever size, whatever thing that you want to
And if
change
I
it.
change the field name here, it won't affect the original
No,
fields.
no. It will never affect. No,
Okay.
see the option here which is mentioned here, Anurag, is what is that? Rename for this visual.
Okay.
So whatever you do here, whatever rename, whatever name that you give is only for this visual. It's not for the other cases.
Yep. Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is my visualization and this is my report level filter. Now let me select medium discount band. See what happens here. This is showing medium data. This is showing medium data. This is being filtered as per medium. Okay. If you want to check it, you can click on this filter icon. Here you will see the filter option. Okay. Next thing is, if you want to see this, you can see it here. Now this is something which is applied to the report, right? So for that case, you should also check whether it's applied on page 1 or not. So for that, go to page 1 visualization, click on filter. You should see the filter being applied here. And when you click here, you should see the filter being applied here also. Okay, so you can see the same filter is being applied, okay, on all the pages. Okay, that is your report level filter. Clear? Any questions? So page level and report level is fairly simple. You just have to drag and drop, and it should be applied on all the visualizations of the page. And in case of report, it should be applied on all the pages of the report. Clear with this? Any questions?
Can we upgrade or degrade the filter level, like from visual to make it all to the page level, or vice versa?
I mean, can you give me a use case, Anurag?
Okay, so we added a date filter here on these
Okay.
two visuals, one
Okay.
visual, and now I wanted to make that visual for entire page.
So you can obviously drag this date from here to here now. So in that case, that will work for all the visualizations. All
No,
that.
but if I added some more than one filter, and now I just want to that instead of manually doing all the filters on page level, can I just I mean, is there any
create
button?
create buttons. Huh? You can create buttons. Correct. Huh? That is possible, Anurag. Okay.
Okay,
I can apply filter without even going to the filter section also. Okay.
okay. with the buttons?
Buttons, there are a lot of options. I'll show you. There are a lot
Okay.
of options to apply filter, create things, create buttons. Those things we'll see. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was your filter section. Okay, so filter section is over. The next section, the next part that we will see is called as slicers. So what are slicers? Slicers are basically your visual level filters. Okay, so whenever if I want to apply visualize any specific filter, what usually happens is I need to go to the filter section, select the specific filters, and then only the conditions are applied, right? So in certain cases, if I want to apply very basic filters, then in that case I can create slicers. So slicers can be created in the form of visuals, and they are available on the report itself. So one important advantage that I get in case of slicer is I don't have to go to filter section. I select anything in the slicer and all the visualizations are filtered. By default, your slicer behaves like a page level filter, meaning anything that you select in the slicer will filter all the visualizations present on the page. Yeah. So this is the icon for slicer. So when I click on this slicer, I can drag any fields and create my slicers. So I'll show you multiple representations of the slicer. Okay, so carefully look into this because this is something which you will come across a lot. Now the first representation is putting a numerical value in a slicer. So let's say I put my sales value into the slicer. Now, since sales is a numerical value can be greater than and can be less than something. So that is why in case of the numerical values, you have one option which is called as between slicer. This is what I call it as between slicer. So in this case, you can move the value to the left, you can move the value to the right, and automatically the visualization changes. For example, this is my slicer which I've created, which is the in between slicer. And in here, I prepare a visualization. So in here I take, let's say we take something else. So I take discount and discount band. This is my visualization. Okay, and I take one more here, profit product, and I make it as pie. Yeah, maybe donut. Let's see. Yeah. So in this case, the moment you select anything in the slicer, you will notice both the visualizations are filtered automatically. That's what I said when I said that your slicer behaves like a page level filter. So when I select, when I move this cursor here, observe the change in the visualization. If you really want to check whether the slicer is filtering or not, click on the filter icon. See, the same value which you have applied on the top is being displayed here. Same is the case with here. This is how your typical slicer works. Now, since we have taken this slicer, this is a numerical slicer. That's why this has the greater than and less than sliders here, which is called as between. So I move it here. If you want to design it the other way, for example, I want to keep one side fixed, the other side moving. So for that, I have two more options. One is called as less than or equal to. In case of this, the one side is fixed, which says the less than equal to, the minimum value is fixed. You can move the maximum side, the right hand side. If I select the other one, greater than or equal to, then in that case, the right hand side is fixed. You can move the left hand side. This is also one of the ways. Another way of designing slicer is with the help of list and drop down. So when I select list, all the unique values or all the distinct values of this sales column is shown in the form of checkboxes. And if I use drop down, what will happen is all the values will be shown in the form of checkboxes, but they will be present inside a drop down. Okay, but usually when we talk about numerical, usually it is the between slicer which we use. Okay, and in case of the textual columns, you will never get the option to create the numerical slicer. Okay, you will only get the option to create list and drop down. So let me show you that also. I'll select this slicer from here. This is my slicer. Now in this slicer, I add country. Now the moment you add country, what happens? You see Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, United States of America. These are my 5 countries. And for all the 5 countries, I see this here. And in here, if you check it, since it's a text column, all you get is list and drop down. These are the only 2 options that you see. Okay. Now, if I select anything here also, the visualizations are filtered. Okay, let me show you that. United States of America is what I select. You can see it's being filtered. Mexico, Germany, France, Canada. If you want to select multiple countries, press Control and select the checkbox. So when I select Canada and France, you can see it's showing me the Canada, France data. You can verify it from here also. Yeah. Canada or France. Right. And if you want to clear the filter, click on this icon. It will automatically clear the filter. Okay. Now, in case of this slicer, usually in case of checkboxes, what you might have also observed, what we have observed is sometimes people need the select all button also to select all the filters. So for that, what you need to do is you need to select this slicer, go to format options, and from the format options, you will have the selection control. So here all the selection control settings are present. For example, if you want single select, you can on this single select radio button. If you want multi select with control to be present, you can enable this button. And if you want the select all option to appear, you can enable this radio button. If I enable this radio button, you can see the select all option is appearing. Okay. Similar to this, if you want to add a title, like Anurag said, if you want to add the titles, which is the usual practice. So in here, I have 2 options. I can either have the slicer header or I can have the title. So from here, I can use this slicer header also. So let me go to the slicer header. I will say slicer country is the heading. Font color, I will make it as white. Background color, I will make it as blue. This is how the header will appear. If you want any outline, top, bottom, left, right, frame, you can select it from here. Okay, if you want font change, you can change the font also. If you want to show the summary, like what is selected, you can show the summary also. Okay, similar to this, if you want to do anything with these checkboxes, you can do it from this item. For example, the font color is black here, so let me change the font color to proper black. Yeah, this is my black color. Now what I want is for every selection I need a background color, so you can change the background color from here. So let me change the background color to, yeah, let's take this color. See, for every option now you see the background color. If you want the outline, you can change the outline from here to frame. And if you want to increase the font size, you can increase the font size from here. Okay, so this is how the typical slicer works. Any questions so far, guys?
Can you just show me this one more time? Select all.
Select all option. Okay. Select all is simple, Anurag. Select the slicer. Okay. Go to the format options. Okay. So I select this slicer. Let me select this slicer. Yeah. Let me go to format options. Go to selection control. And within the selection control, you will see the select all option. If you're not able to search it, just go here, type select all. It should show you that option. Okay, like this also you can search for any specific property and you can set that property. Clear with this, Anurag?
Yep, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So like this, you can design your slicer and you can filter it. So this slicer will actually behave as your page level filter. As you can see, selection is quite simple. Even clearing out the value is quite simple. You can select or clear the values very easily from here and you can use it. Okay, so that is how a typical slicer would work. Now this slicer works for single page. Now let's say if I want this slicer to work for all the pages, even that is possible. Okay, so for that, let me do one thing. Yeah. So let's say I have this slicer and I have another page where I want to apply this slicer. So let me create another page. Let me duplicate this. When you duplicate this, all the visualizations would be copied on the new page. Okay, so this is my new page. Now in this page, I select this visualization. I just change it. So I want discount, but I want it with respect to product. And I want profit, but I want with respect to segment. Okay, now this is my page. Okay, duplicate page 3. Let me rename it to something else. Page 4. Yeah, this is my page 4. This is my page 3. Now what happens is I come to this page, I select Canada from here. All good, the data is filtered. But when you come to page 4, the Canada is not selected in this slicer. Similar to this, if I select France here, this is filtered. This is working fine. This is showing you the France data, correct? But when you go to page 3, it is still showing you the Canada data. So in this case, there could be confusions. So in order to avoid confusion, what we can do is we can sync the slicers on both the pages. So when you sync the slicers on both the pages, it would look like one single slicer. So for that, select the slicer here, go to view page. This is the view button. And after clicking on the view button, select the sync slicer option. So when you select the sync slicer option, you will see one more window, which is called as sync slicer on this side. It will show you a list of all the pages, and wherever the slicer is present, it will show you that. So this slicer is present on page 3 and page 4. And what you want to do is you want to sync the page 3 and page 4 slicer. So for that, click on this checkbox. So this column is for syncing. So I'll select page 3 and I'll select page 4 here. That's it. Done. If you want to control the visibility of slicers, you can control it from here also. For example, I have slicer on page 3. I don't want to show the same slicer on page 4. So I can uncheck this box. Okay. And I can go to page 4 now. So then when you go to page 4, you don't see the slicer. But when you go to page 3, your slicer is present. Now, if I click France here, so France is selected here. You can verify it here. Country is France. And if you go to page 4, and if you see the filter for this case also, this visualization also, it is also France. Okay. So the same slicer is now working as your report level filter. If you want to enable or if you want to get that slicer again on the second page, select the slicer here. Again, select sync slicer. And from sync slicer, enable this checkbox. When you enable this checkbox again, you will see the slice. Okay, and both are synced. France is selected here, France is selected here also. Clear with this? Any questions in the sync slicer? Okay, now what happens is, let's say I have this slicer with me, which is changing everything, right? This is working fine, this is changing everything. Now at the same time, I have a card visual here, and in the card visual I have this, not sales, I have this discounts value, right? So the moment I select country here, it shows me the discount value for that specific country. But this is confusing people because usually card is used to represent the whole number, not the filtered entity. So in that case, a lot of people are confused whether this is showing us the complete entity or this is showing us the filter entity. So what I want now is my slicer should not change this value. This should stay as 9.21 million. So for that, I have an option which is called as edit interaction. Okay. So in this case, I select this slicer. Okay. And I go to format, and in the format, I will see one button called as edit interaction. So this edit interaction button controls how the visualizations behave, how the other visualization behaves when anything is selected in this slicer. So this is how the edit interaction option works. So I select this slicer and I click on edit interaction. When you click on edit interaction, you will notice two buttons appearing in on the top of each and every visualization. Okay, so next to each visualization, you see two buttons. One first button is by default selected, which is called as filter, and the second button, which is not selected, is called as none. When the none button is selected, that means that this visualization will not be filtered by the cell slicer. And if filter is selected, that means this visualization will be filtered by the slicer. So for example, if you don't want this card visualization to be filtered by this slicer, select the none option. Once you have selected the none option, click on edit interaction and the buttons should be gone. Now when the buttons are gone, the value is 9.21 million, which you can see it here. I select Germany from here. See what happens. Now if you see this visualization, this is filtered. If you see this visualization, even this is filtered. Okay. But when you select this visualization, you can see it is not filtered. No filter is applied to this. Clear with this? This is how the edit interaction can control which visualization can be filtered and which visualization cannot be filtered. Okay. Now this filtering mechanism which I talked about, right? This edit interaction option, this is available for every visualization. This is not just specific to your slicer. For example, I come to this bar diagram and I select low discount band. The moment you select low discount band, you can see this being changed and this being changed. Correct? So within this donut chart, it is showing the respective information. Within this also, it is showing